This Hugo and Jake, they're coming to take a look at the Qur'an. So make no mistake, it's gonna be great, delivering more than comedy, that's what they wanna be. But honestly, it's fact from fiction, leaving lasting hits. When Hugo and Jake take faith and illustrate contradictions, create apostates to be great. Atheists make people who believe see the world in a different way. What's on the episode today? Take it away, Hugo and Jake. Loving the way they're splitting the fact from the fake, attempting to make those who hold faith reevaluate and wake up. But they just stay stuck and hate us. Wait and stay in place, no time to waste. The Qur'an reload with Hugo and Jake.
Hello everyone, I'm Hugo. And this is the Qur'an Reloaded, and we're back to do more of the Qur'an. You good?
I'm excited.
I can tell. You seem fucking ecstatic about it, frankly.
Yeah.
And I'm, honestly, this is my favorite surah thus far, because this one, as we said in the previous episodes, if you haven't, go back and watch them, I don't know why you would skip them, is about women. The women is what this chapter is called. And, you know, I get a little joy in my heart every time I read about women and how you should beat them, because at least I know they're being beaten properly, and that's what we're getting today. How to properly beat women.
If you're gonna beat a woman, follow the rules.
Right, like don't play baseball if you don't know what innings are. It's just one of those things.
Exactly.
So, anyway, without further ado, we're continuing 4th Surah, verse 33. To everyone we have assigned beneficiaries in what is left by parents and relatives. Those with whom you have made an agreement, give them your share. God is witness over all things. This is referring to their laws in which it would say, like, okay, if you're the daughter, you get this much. If you're the son, you get this much. If you're a cousin, you get this much of the inheritance. But it's also, the second part is saying, if, for instance, you've taken in a child to adopt them, they automatically become that role. For instance, if you bring in a male child, they get the same beneficiaries as a birth son, essentially. So that's all that is, which isn't bad. I mean, I get it. At least it's a law. At least that sentence didn't involve anyone being beaten or burned or tortured or Jews. Men are the protectors and maintainers of women. Now, I want you to remember that sentence. I want you to remember the protectors and maintainers of women with what's about to come next. As God has given one of them an advantage over the other, because they spend out of their wealth the good, women are obedient, guarding what God would have them guard. So, the next thing they say is, hey, the reason that women suck is because men are supposed to take care of them, therefore God made them suck so they could be taken care of. It's sort of circular in that way, where they're like, yeah, women are subservient because men have to take care of them, because they're subservient because they're lesser than men. I don't know. I think they can come up with a better justification than that, but that's just me.
It's weird to me that a society would ever want women to be subservient.
Yeah.
I guess I don't understand it. But maybe it's because, like, I haven't reaped the benefits of a subservient woman ever. Maybe it's the bee's knees. Maybe it's just fucking great.
That sounds
like,
fucking
hey, would you like to
me,
clean?
though.
Would you like to clean that and make me dinner, and then I'm maybe a blow jibber. I could take it or leave it.
I couldn't spend, and this
that'd
is
be so terrible.
This is men and women. If there was someone that felt they were subservient to me, and like we had no common grounds to actually like have a conversation, what's even the fucking point? Like, I don't care if you're a cleaning, child rearing blowjob machine. If you're not interesting to be around, fuck off. It's
yeah,
stupid.
but what if that's one of several, and one of them is, you know, the conversational wife?
That's where
the other ones are just the blow jay and make me a pork roast.
Sure. So
wives.
Like one's off in the kitchen making you dinner, one is currently giving you a blowjob, and then as you're getting the blowjob and dinner is being made, you're looking to your right and talking about the government bond market.
Right, you know? Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Sure. That makes sense.
See, Muslims have this all figured out. We are obviously inferior.
As for those from whom you fear disloyalty, admonish them and abandon them in their beds, then strike them.
Wait, how? In what order, though? Because if you abandon them in their bed, does that just mean, like, don't sleep with them at night? Or does that mean, like, abandon them in the bed, like, you know, when you play a prank at camp, and you put the kid on the raft on his bed in the middle of the lake, and he wakes up and he falls into the lake?
And here's the thing. I actually looked this up because I was like, what the fuck? Why are all these things? So according to the Qur'an study that I read before we do this, so I can get an Islamic perspective on the verses, they say, well, when they say that, you're supposed to do one of the three. You're either supposed to hit them, or you're supposed to, like, put them in their own bed so they don't get to be near you, or you're supposed to yell at them. Not all three at once, because apparently Muhammad said, like, well, that's a little strict. Not all at once, but, you know, you have your options. Specifically, though, this is my favorite part. When they're talking about the hitting, because of course now it's, you know, it's the 21st century. You have to sort of kind of at least try and justify the hitting women, right? Like, you can't just be like, yeah, of course. You have to kind of try and justify it. So here's verbatim a quote by the Quran study. Whenever the Prophet, peace be upon him, permitted a man to administer corporal punishment on his wife, he did so with reluctance and continued to express his distaste for it. So,
okay, so this is an interesting scene because you have to pick one of the three. You have to abandon them in their bed, yell at them, or hit. Meaning you don't get to yell and hit, right?
Yeah.
Because usually the yelling and the hitting goes together. That's a very common scene.
You think so?
So it's silent punching, just, and then after I don't know when you want to pace it, but probably after every 2 or 3 punches, you go, you know I don't like doing this, right?
It's literally the scene you're setting is literally the stereotypical why do you make me do this, man hitting his wife?
Yeah, except instead of a trailer, it's a Saudi palace.
Yeah, and I'm not done, by the way. They continue to say, and even
God.
in cases where it is necessary, the Prophet, again, peace be upon him. I know that it's in the rules that they have to say that every time they say Muhammad. That's got to be exhausting. But anyway, Muhammad directed men not to hit across the face, nor beat severely, nor to use anything that might leave marks on the body.
Oh, so it's got Anchorman rules.
Yeah, that's
no touching of the face or hair.
Those are also the general rules if you want to, like, beat your kid, but you don't want the school to get involved. You know,
right? You hit them on the outside of their arms, so that you can say, oh, they're playing rough.
Yeah. And again, let me remind you, that verse, which is all one verse, started with, men are the protectors and maintainers of women.
When's the protection come in?
They're
from other men that want to hit them?
They're protecting them from disobeying God's word, which is to obey their husband.
That makes more sense.
Yeah. See, I'm protecting you from disobeying me. Slap, slap. But not in the face. And don't leave a mark. Unless you do, then it's like, try better next time. But if they obey you, seek no way against them. God is sublime, great. Not so sure about that one. Out of all the verses you could have added at the end, God is sublime and great, that was an interesting choice.
Now I just have smoke 2 joints stuck in my head.
If you fear a breach between the two, appoint an arbiter from his family and an arbiter from her family. If they wish to reconcile, God will bring them together. God is knowledgeable, expert. I have a hard time believing this happened very often, because anytime the woman is like, I'm arguing with you, we need an arbitration, I assume he smacked her and said no. So,
right. Even if the arbitration did happen, they'll be like, well, did she disobey you? And then Mahmoud will be like, well, yeah. Why else would I punish her with my fist? And then her father's like, well, I mean, you know, your mother and I went through this as well. It's just a newlywed thing.
Right. I gotta assume, because there's no way the arbiter from her family is going to be, you know, her mom. So it's clearly going to be the dad who already bought into the system, because he gave her away to some asshole, presumably. So, yeah.
Do you think there's any happy marriages there, like, genuinely?
Oh, I'm sure
like
there are.
And I'm not talking just, like, in Arabic nations. Of course there are. I mean in, like, Sharia, like, areas. You think there's, like, real happy marriages?
Honestly, probably more than you think, mostly because we sort of accept the society in which we were placed in, so I assume the women there, at least the ones who don't have a lot of access to information about other stuff, about other countries and how it works in other places.
Sure, I guess, because they just think it's normal.
Right, it's normalized for them, and they just think this is the role of a woman, these are the rules, I follow the rules, and everything's fine. And don't get me wrong, I'm sure plenty of them are like, this is bullshit, they just can't do anything. But, I mean, I see something similar sort of in India, and it's a different situation, don't get me wrong, but when we're talking about just marriages and different norms, the arranged marriage situation in places like India, you know, people there, I've met people who have had arranged marriages who immigrated to the United States, and they're happy because that's just how the system works, and they find a way to make it work for them, and if that's true, great, but I don't know. I still think it's backwards and fucked up, but it's not my life, man.
I'd like to see I don't know this will never happen, but if you could get an honest poll, like a statistics thing, and if you polled all the women in, like, say, Saudi Arabia, which has ridiculous Sharia laws, how many of them have never been hit? I wonder if the over-under is 10% by their spouse.
That's an interesting point, honestly, because I'm sure there are just some husbands who just don't feel like doing it, or like for whatever reason think it's wrong, even if they are Muslim, I don't know why.
Yeah. I just I gotta imagine it's lower than 10%, right? I hope not, but whatever. Saudi Arabia sucks, and if I was president, we wouldn't be in cahoots. We'd just drill the shit out of Alaska.
I would assume for someone who's not even a serial abuser who doesn't do it on the reg, at least once there had to be an argument where they're like, well, this is a thing that's permissible anyway. Smack.
I don't know
what I mean?
I've never really wanted to hit a woman.
Nope, I've never wanted to hit anyone. So.
I have.
Oh, I know. I know you have hit people. You hit your brother once because I don't even remember the situation. But.
Yeah, fuck that guy. Nah, he's cool. I like him. He's fine now. He was 18 years old at the time. He deserved it. Anyways.
Worship God and ascribe no partners to him, and be good to the parents and relatives. What that means is they're referring to how Jesus in the Christian religion is paired with the Father and the Holy Spirit. They're essentially saying, hey, that's not a thing in Islam. It's never going to be a thing. Do not ever say God is subservient to others. Be good to the parents and relatives and orphans and the poor and the neighbors next door. Ooh, that rhymed. That's nice. I'd like to think when someone translated that, they had it felt a little Dr. Seuss coming on. Ah.
I was going to say Lil Wayne.
And distant neighbor and close associate and traveler and your servants. God does not love the arrogant show-off.
Oh, wow. Sorry, Donald.
I don't think we've gone an episode since the election without mentioning Donald Trump once. People are already sick of it, and I understand why. I'm still in post-Donald Trump elected hangover mode, so give it time.
Oh, I just think it's hilarious that he gets mad and all of his people get mad.
That's true.
I love the fact that they're so thin-skinned over it. It's like, fuck you. I love it. I love that you hate it. Like Obama got shit on for 8 years. Mm-hmm. Who cares? It's fair play, man. It's our turn.
Yeah, I swear the shows aren't just going to turn to the Donald Trump show. It'll peter out. But one last thing I wanted to bring up about this.
Oh, God, no.
I promise we won't mention it anymore in this episode. It was hilarious. When that BuzzFeed story or whatever about him getting peed on, which I don't think is true, but that happened and stuff got reported on and more Russian stuff got reported on. And then Donald tweeted like, had to get one last shot in, right, guys? And it made me realize, oh my God, Donald Trump thinks people are going to stop criticizing him when he gets into office. That's fucking amazing.
Oh, it's going to be bad for him. He
literally helped perpetuate the idea that the current president was from Kenya and not a legitimate president for like 8 years, and he thinks no one's going to take shots at him. It's amazing. So
I saw an amazing tweet the other day because he was giving shit to Saturday Night Live, and the tweet read, "Every Saturday night, the president-elect sits down in his room and watches 90 minutes of sketch comedy and doesn't laugh, and then goes to sleep."
That pisses me off. And again, like I said, we'll stop and then it'll be done for the episode. But it's funny to me, like, has he ever watched Saturday Night Live? I mean, he worked for NBC. He's a current producer on one of their shows. Like, he's aware every single season of Saturday Night Live since it's been around has made fun of the sitting president, right? Like, they've made fun of Obama
and
too.
Turned into super cool guy.
Yeah.
Maybe it'll happen, right? Maybe he'll be fun. Good guy. Be a good guy? No? Okay.
Anyway.
All right. Let's talk about Islam, which is objectively worse, which is one of the things.
Those who are stingy and exhort people to stinginess and conceal what God has given them from his bounty, we have prepared for the disbelievers a disgraceful punishment. And those who spend their money to be seen by people and believe neither in God nor the last day, whoever has Satan as a companion, what an evil companion.
What? If you don't believe in God or the last day, why does that automatically mean Satan's your companion? What if I want to roll with Odin?
Odin doesn't have friends. He has an eye patch and a raven, and that is it. He is a loner.
No, he has an 8-legged horse.
Oh.
And a battle axe.
Battle axes don't count as friends. They are
the
a
heads
weapon.
of frost giants to accompany him to Valhalla.
I don't know enough about mythology to say whether or not any of this is true. So
it's all true. All of it was true. 8-legged horse. He actually is one of the main inspirations for Santa Claus. Like the whole because it flew as well.
I watched I don't remember what I watched the other day, but it was actually a really interesting video on how Santa Claus came to be and the different that season's characters and myths. You know what it was? It was Lindsay Ellis. She does this show called Loose Cannon where she talks about different characters and how they came to be in their various incarnations. It's a good one about Santa.
I'm gonna nod and pretend I know who that person is.
There was actually a
Lindsay Ellis.
I guess I don't remember which country or region this was from, but their Santa Claus was literally the Christ child, and it was literally like baby Jesus came and gave people gifts. And then that obviously
That's the best.
And then it sort of just became generic baby angel, and then it got morphed into Santa with everything else in that region. It was interesting. I don't know.
How do you go from baby, like a delivery baby, to old fat guy?
I assume what happened was they did the baby thing for a while, and then they heard like, hey, everywhere else in the world, their thing is a big fat guy, and they went, yeah, that's a little less creepy than a baby bringing you gifts, I guess. Sure. And they just switched.
Really? I've never been worried about a baby's intent.
You're worried about Santa's intent a little bit?
I mean, you're telling me every single year he's not counting on someone to turn 18 over Christmas?
What would they have lost had they believed in God in the last day and gave out what God has provided for them? God knows them well. It's Pascal's wager, but Muslim. That's all I have to say about that, but thought I'd point it out. God does not commit an atom's weight of injustice, and if there is a good deed, he doubles it and gives his presence a sublime compensation. I'm going to go out on a limb here and say the original translation was not an atom's weight, since, they didn't discover the atom until hundreds and hundreds of years later.
Yeah, it's almost certainly not.
I'm going to assume that was, I bet they changed it to atom in the English translation because I would assume whatever the original translation is, it does sort of translate probably to infinitesimal small speck of whatever. And you know how Muslims have this
they use
thing.
Grains of sand a lot.
Maybe.
But measurement in the Bible, at least.
Muslims have this thing where Christians do this to an extent too, but Muslims have this huge boner for claiming there are scientific things in the Qur'an that weren't proven until later. And I'm assuming whatever this verse was, I don't know this for a fact. This is conjecture at best. I'm assuming they used this verse to say, see, this verse is talking about some infinitesimally small unit of measurement for like the building blocks of the universe. And so they claimed it was an atom. So in this version, they changed it to atom.
The thing is about that, though, like, you can, like, as far as the atom thing, it's been theorized that existed for a long, long time before they proved it existed. They just weren't able to see it. It's not a hard stretch to look at a grain of sand and go, oh, there's clearly more to it. If I was smaller, I could chip away with it. Like, if you think about it in your head, like, you could cut a grain of sand in half if you could get that small. And there would still be more to cut in half after that. So you can look at an object and go, yeah, that could get infinitesimally small.
Right.
So, like, how can you even take credit for that, Qur'an?
I think it's funny, too, because you think a translation like 100 years from now is going to, instead of atom, going to say, like, quark, because now we know... Actually, we know atoms are made up of particles, and then the particles are made up of quarks, and I think now they theorize quarks are made up of subquarks or something like... it goes down and down and down. But, you can't just stop at atom, guys. Like, you can't play this game. That's not fair. Then how will it be when we bring a witness from every community, and we bring you as a witness against these? On that day, those who disbelieve and disobeyed the messenger will wish that the earth were leveled over them. They will conceal nothing from God. Oh, you who believe, do not approach the prayer while you are drunk so that you know what you say, nor after sexual orgasm unless you are traveling until you have bathed.
Hold on. Is there a non-sexual orgasm?
Even wet dream, I guess, is sexual. It's just you.
Even if you're not dreaming about a sexual thing and you skeet, like it's still sexual orgasm. It's your sexual organs. I can't orgasm from not my sexual organs.
Well, I don't know
Not
what to tell
possible. You can orgasm from stimulation of non-sexual organs. Like, man, if you just tweak my nipples, just everywhere, just balls empty. My balls couldn't get more empty.
I honestly thought you were going to go prostate, but I respect that you went nipples.
No, we discussed the other day on TPR that my butthole is just too ticklish.
Yeah.
Do not get near it.
Fair. If you are sick or traveling, or one of you comes from the toilet, or you have...
I wasn't looking at... okay. Anyway.
Or you have had intercourse with a woman and cannot find water, find clean sand, and wipe your face and your hands with it. God is pardoning and forgiving.
Okay, that's... Okay, what they're saying is if you get sex dirty, you gotta clean yourself off. And if worse comes to worse, just fucking rub your hands with sand.
Okay, you've just created more problems for yourself than you had before because, let's be
What if
real.
you got stank crotch, dude?
Let's be adults here. Let's say your hands are sticky, whether it be from your own fluids or from someone else's.
It happens. It happens.
You put that in sand, the sand's just gonna stick to your hands.
Right now you just got sticky hand mud.
You just have cum mud on your hands now.
Oh god, it's cummy mud.
Yeah.
Wait, why are you coming on your own hands so much?
I'm just saying, in general, this was a terrible decision by the writers of the Qur'an. I don't know if this was masterminded by Muhammad as a prank or what, but
yeah, and I'm just saying, if you guys get a little, if maybe rubbing it on your face isn't the best thing to do as well.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, because sometimes, you come on your own face.
All right, so that's enough for this episode. We're going to go ahead and stop there. We'll continue next week with, of course, more stuff about women and how to treat them and, well, you know how it goes. So, you can always follow us on Twitter at Bible Reloaded.
Yeah, you could do that.
You could follow me at Hugo Reloaded. I need more followers.
How many do you have?
Probably almost 13,000. Not as many as you, because you have the main account and you tweet way more than I do.
I'm also better. We're almost at 21,000 on the main account.
Oh, nice.
Wow, actually, we're 75 away from 21,000. So be one of those 75. I'm very entertaining, I promise. Just look for the confused Jake face. Seriously, because that's the face I make all the time. That's my thing.
You can always subscribe to this channel or over at The Bible Reloaded if you haven't already, or over at Unpopular Culture if you want to hear us talk about movie, video game, television, and entertainment news. And then finally, if you want to help support this program, you can always donate to our Patreon campaign. We do a once-a-month patron-only hangout, which is a lot of fun, and that's going to be on Saturday, is it the 20th?
Tomorrow.
The 21st. Saturday the 21st.
It's tomorrow.
Nah, it'll be...
It's the 20th. No. It's Inauguration Day.
It'll be 2 days from when this comes out. So, other than that, until next time, Hugo.
Jake.
Qur'an Reloaded. Remember, people, beat your women correctly. Especially in a lesbian relationship, because that's twice as much rules to remember.
To get the cummies off you got to rub sand on it.
Yeah, okay. Have sex, put the sand, cum, mud, and then start beating your woman, okay? You're gonna leave marks everywhere. Maybe, and this is just, have a safe word, but I'm just saying, you might get off on it. I don't know.
What if the safe word is sand cummies?
Okay, the word cummies is not a word I ever want to come out of your fucking mouth again.